I'll be the first to admit that this one took me by surprise because I did not anticipate that Dune Awakening was going to have their private servers ready to go for the launch of the game. But they do have them ready to go. In fact, they have them ready to go before the Head Start access kicks off on Thursday. So let's dive into everything we need to know about private servers for those of you who wanted to rent one. Worth noting, I've kind of skimmed through this. They work a little bit differently than they do for like Conan Exiles or say, Enshrouded or so on and so forth, because of the fact that they set this game up as a multiplayer online sandbox. So there are some caveats to things, but this is great for those of you who are worried about getting your clan together, your guild together on one server, and you were worried about, you know, which Haga Basin, and things of that nature. This way is going to allow guilds to come together and groups of friends to be able to create their own space. So, it says just about 72 hours before the floodgates open, we can finally share that rentable private servers are now available for Head Start on June 5th. We had previously communicated that private servers were for post-launch, but we're happy to share that progress has been faster than expected. That's why I said this came as a surprise to me. I literally just published my starting tips video and then went and saw that there was an announcement that a blog post had gone up, and I was like, what? So here we go. We do, however, want to manage expectations about how private servers work in Dune Awakening because, as you know, this is not your typical survival game. Dune Awakening is powered by a unique server and world structure, something we went into in depth in a recent blog post, which I urge those of you to go dive into if you want to know more about all these details. Each server belongs to a world consisting of several other servers, and each of those share the same social hubs and the same deep desert, which just allows you to retain the neighborhood-like feel of the Haga Basin and provide a persistent, freeform building and other server-demanding mechanics you typically see in survivor games, combined with the large-scale multiplayer mechanics you would expect to find in MMOs, where hundreds of players meet up in social hubs and the deep desert to engage in social activities, trade, conflict, and more. Um, Naturally, transferring this setup has not been trivial. We decided that we did not want to remove the large-scale multiplayer aspects of the game, as that is crucial to the Dune Awakening experience, and the game's content mechanics are deeply rooted in this structure. It was never an option for us to simply release half a game for the private servers, so we had to come up with a solution that retained the fundamental MMO-like features, as well as giving players some control over who has access to their individual servers. So there are some concessions that had to be made in terms of how much control players have over their private servers. The result is a model where you have fewer settings than you would in other survival games such as Conan Exiles, which has a full single player mode. We are trying to be completely clear and upfront about that so you can make an informed decision as to whether or not it's worth it for you and your friends to rent a private server. So this is how this is going to work. The Haga Basin is going to be where your private server is set up. So all of the Haga Basin content is for you and your private servers. Arakeen and Harko Village, which are the two social hubs, those are shared. And then the Deep Desert is shared. So those are still going to be accessing the shared version of the game. When you rent a private server, you're essentially renting a Haga Basin private server where you can have the full Haga Basin map and do everything you would on an official server. Your private server belongs to a world consisting of other private servers, and you get to choose what world you join for your private server when you rent yours from a provider. So essentially, just if you join the normal servers, you're joining the public world servers, but when you rent a server, you're renting a private Haga Basin within a private world that shares other private servers. That's interesting. That means you can still take advantage of the large-scale multiplayer content mechanics, including social hubs in the deep desert where you can meet up and play with people from any other private server on that same world. So in other words, the deep desert experience for you, if you are on a private server, is going to be with other players on private servers who are sharing the deep desert of that private world server. Okay. Players do not rent or control social hubs near the deep desert. These are provided by the server hosting company who ensures each private world's server has them. Each private server's world has them. Okay. What settings are available for your private server? You cannot control every aspect of how your private server works. Which settings you can configure is ultimately up to the third-party service provider, but these are the settings we are making available as Funcom. Security zones, where you can disable security zones entirely, making all of the Haga base in PvP, or you can choose to have pockets of PvP like on official servers. I'm assuming that means you can also turn it completely off if you don't want to have any pockets of PvP at all. Taxation, although it really doesn't matter, I should say, let me back that up a second, because if only you and your friends are playing on the servers, it won't matter because there won't be any PvP unless you want there to be. Taxation, you can disable taxation on your server. That's cool. And you can also disable sandstorms so they don't even appear on your server. That's a big deal for the people who were worried about base degradation, because if you've got to go away on vacation for 3 weeks, or maybe you can't be online for 2 or 3 months, normally your fuel cells would run out on the shields for your base, and the sandstorms would come through, and eventually your base would deteriorate. But if you can turn sandstorms off completely, that ensures that your base is always going to be able to be up. As long as you are renting that private server and paying that monthly fee, your base is always going to be there. You can also name your server and set a password for it. Please note that private servers do not have admin control nor character transfers presently. We will evaluate this functionality post-launch. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. Just how you can visit other servers in your world while playing official servers, you can do the same with other private servers. And I'm assuming that's within the same world. What you need to do is select the other server in the server selection menu and put in that server's password when prompted. You can take everything with you on your character, and you are free to do anything you would like on the server. You can even claim land, something you can't do when visiting official servers. When you arrive on the other server, you will appear at the Griffin's Reach trade post, which is in Haga Basin South. To rent a private server, you will be doing so through Gportal, Nitrado, or XRealm. They say, please note that these services are managed by the hosting companies themselves. If you have tech support, that's on them, and Funcom does not control the prices of the private server rental. Says here, we look forward to your feedback on private servers, and we will continue to evaluate opportunities, expanding their functionality and rule sets. We hope that this service will be meaningful to those of you who prefer to play on servers where you don't have to share with others. We hope that the shared world structure will add an extra dimension without taking away from the unique content and mechanics that make Dune Awakening what it is. And if you want to do a PvP free-for-all Haga base without the pesky tasks and sandstorms while inviting select other people, good luck, now you can. So that's really cool. It's a very interesting take on things, considering you can, it sounds like, from what I understand, you will be renting your Haga Basin from a private world server, and then all of those private servers will have their own version of the Deep Desert and social hubs that are shared amongst all the other private servers, which is different than the open servers. That's cool. I did not anticipate that this was going to be happening before launch, so I hadn't actually given much thought. I did say the other day that if they offered private servers, I would consider doing one down the line. I don't think I'm going to do one for launch, but I am looking at this now with the anticipation of this might be really cool after I spend my first few months in the game and get everything I want out of it. It might be something fun to say, hey, let's set up a private server where we can go do our own thing for a long-term community aspect. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in private servers yet, but there's the announcement. Those of you who are waiting for private servers, you can go get one before the Head Start access starts on Thursday, and I'll be seeing all of you on June 5th when the servers open up. So stick around, stay tuned. More Dune Awakening content down below in the playlist, and I play a lot of other games, so I'll see you guys in the next stream live every single day on YouTube and Twitch.